What's up, guys? This is Joe. I'm coming to you here from the car. I just got on the highway, and so it is time for the first episode of Driving to the Draft. I am actually driving, so I won't be looking directly into the camera a lot, just for safety purposes. I really don't feel like filming my own car crash today, or ever. But what I was thinking of doing with this series, I kind of teased it a little bit in the wrap-up video for 2015 that I did with Amy for Christmas. Hopefully you guys checked that out. It was a blast to make. It's very short, so if you haven't, it's 3 minutes and change, so just go give it a look, just so you can see what we have coming up in 2016. Here at the end of 2015 and going into 2016, one of the new shows I wanted to do was Driving to the Draft, and this is one of them. So as the inaugural episode, just because one of the things that we did on the channel, one of the first Magic the Gathering openings that we did on a larger scale was Magic Origins when that set came out. Now, ironically, that was the last core set, but they were talking about the origins of the Planeswalkers, and it was the first main set. You know, we did Modern Masters first, but it was the first main set that we opened on the channel, and so I wanted to kind of give you guys the channel's origin story. And let you guys know where we're coming from as people, as people on the channel. So there's kind of the RPG side right now. There's the RPG side of the channel, and there's the Magic the Gathering side of the channel. And maybe you watch both, maybe you don't. It depends on what you're into and what kind of content you like. But I figure because the main stuff that we put on and the main stuff that I'm constantly editing and that is constantly being produced is the RPG stuff, that's what I'm going to start with, plus the fact that, as you'll see throughout the course of the episode, that's what brought us to actually start uploading stuff onto the channel in the first place. Next time I'll probably do my Magic Origins next time. So basically, the way that the channel itself started, I'll go back a little bit to high school. Austin, Schnoz, Creepy, Amy, myself, and Steve all went to high school together. And while we were in high school, I was aware of the fact that Schnoz and Austin and Creepy played D&D often. There was a D&D club in school. They played while we were in high school, and I was aware of it. I went maybe once or twice, and I never played. I never really was interested in it. There was always the stigma that existed, and I knew that, you know, Austin, Schnoz, and Creepy didn't give a damn because it was just fun. It was something fun that they did with their friends, and I never was able to get past that. I was never able to get past the, you know, oh, well, what if we get made fun of, and, you know, is that cool? Is it okay? And, you know, what I realize now is who the hell cares? It's actually a lot more accepted nowadays, but regardless, I should have just been able to go with it. It was what my friends were doing, and I don't know that I would have been as into it then as I am now, only because as I moved into college, I ended in high school and moved on to college, and I still spoke to those guys, and I saw them when I came home, but they obviously didn't go to the college that I went to, and so I was going to college, and I was just trolling the internet, looking for fun videos to watch, which may be what some of you guys are doing. That may be how you stumbled upon this, but I'm looking online and looking for fun stuff, and I came upon some random stuff online of people recording D&D sessions. And I'm watching, and again, I was aware of its existence, but that was about as far as it went. And I'm watching these people come up with these insane ideas of things that they wanted to do with their characters. And that fascinated me, that there was a game, because I played video games and stuff, but that this was a game where you literally could say, you know, I want to do X, and X is the craziest thing you could possibly think of that's totally out of left field, and you get to try it. It's not like a video game where you have a set number of buttons, and those buttons are going to do different things for you, but there are still outside parameters. There's still a point where the game might tell you, no, you can't do this, or no, you can't go here, or you'll think to yourself, can I do this? And you try it, and it just doesn't work. But in D&D, maybe it doesn't work, but that's the die's fault. It's all based on chance. If you try it, there's always a possibility. You crit, and it could happen. So I loved that aspect of it. I loved the fact that anything that my twisted mind could think of, I could have happen in this game. And the fact that it's also problem solving, and I enjoy that as well, and teamwork. And so it it's camaraderie and it's friendship and it's joking around and it's having a good time. And to be honest, at the time, for somebody who was in college, it was also relatively free. I mean, you're paying for the dice and you're paying for maybe the books, but once you put in that money, it's free. You just roll dice and write stuff down on paper. Everybody has a pencil, and scrap paper is a dime a dozen. So it was a great, cheap way to have fun and hang out. And so when I came home after I graduated from college and after I graduated from grad school, I came back home and I remember eating dinner one night. We had gone out and I'm eating with Austin and Schnoz and Creepy and I think Steve as well. And we were all hanging out and I said, hey, you know, I was watching D&D. I know you guys used to play a lot in high school and I know that you guys still play to a degree now. You know, I've been interested in starting a game. I don't know if that's something you would be interested in. And Austin was like, yeah, that's definitely something that we could make happen. And, you know, I really thought, not that this is what our group does at all, but I really thought, you know, okay, well, they said that, but, you know, it's going to be a while before we actually get together and start doing this stuff. And the next thing I know, it was, I would say, less than a month later, and Austin said, hey, you know, do you want to get together on X date and start the D&D game? And I was like, yeah, absolutely, let's do it. And he sent me the book, the Player's Handbook. We started with 3.5, but he sent me the Player's Handbook, and I read through it, and I'm not going to spoil all the characters in the game, and I'll tell you who I played as, but there's more coming on this channel for D&D stuff, as I teased in the other video as well, so stay tuned for that. So like I said, I won't fully spoil the entire story of the game, but I read through it, and it was my first time. I had very little experience with the game besides watching that stuff online, and I was very interested in playing a dwarf. So I read through, and that's what I wanted to do. And then I kept reading through the book, and so that was my race. I had it. I knew that's what I wanted to be. And then I'm reading through the classes, and the class that spoke to me, oddly enough, for those of you that know D&D, the class that really spoke to me was a monk. And dwarf monks are not a thing usually in D&D. They're very rare, for those of you that are not aware of that. Jump cut. So we started the game off, and we had our first session, which was interesting, with Schnoz, Creepy, and Austin being the experts or the vets, and Tiara, Steve, and I, having never played the game before in our lives. It took a while to get our characters together, as if you've played D&D before, you know. But we went through the first session, and it was a lot of fun, and one really, really funny thing happened, and as I said, I'm not going to spoil it. Stay tuned for our videos. You'll be able to hear all about it. But I mentioned I met up with my friend Dave later on in the week, and when I met up with Dave, I told him about what happened in the D&D game. He knew that I was going to be playing with some friends, and so he knew I was going to be trying it out. It was something I was very interested in, and so I told him all about it, and we were outside of a pizza place. We were going to get some food. Dave was unable to walk into that pizza place because we were in public, and he was laughing so hard. It was just a hilarious moment. It was great. I appreciated it a lot, and I appreciated being able to tell him about it. And so at that point, Dave said, you know, I was thinking of getting into D&D. He said, now I just really want to. And that's kind of how it goes, right? You hear a fun story about D&D, or like me, you watch a fun video, and you go, that would be interesting to try. And so I asked Austin, and Austin was cool about it. He said, yeah, definitely, bring him along, why not? So everybody got to meet Dave, and he was able to seamlessly join the group. I knew that a lot of us had the same interests anyway, and so Dave was able to fit in with everybody really well. Everybody's really cool anyway. We wouldn't have excluded him, but we're all amazing friends now, as you guys can tell. And so we were able to do that. And by the end of the game, we played the game for about, I'd say, 2 years. And by the end of the game, there was just so much hilarious stuff that had happened that I found myself with so many stories to tell. And I felt like that was kind of all I was talking about with anyone else who wasn't in the game. And while the stories are fun, and I consider myself to be an okay storyteller, it's not the same if you're not there. And so I decided, what would be really awesome, and I mentioned it to the rest of the group, would be if we could film our games or record them in some way and put them up on YouTube for anyone to see. And even if it really was just, hey, our friends who we're telling these stories to, just go watch it. That would be the cool part. And we were ending the D&D game for a while. It will be coming back eventually. I was just talking to Austin about it the other day. But for now, we stopped it, and Schnoz said that he had a game that he knew very well and that he wanted to GM, Mutants and Masterminds, spoilers. And so we decided that would be the game that we would try out recording with and posting about. And that would be the first one. And then we could go back to D&D eventually and go back to playing those characters. And we will eventually, as I said. And so that game was over. It was so amazing. And we moved on to Mutants and Masterminds. And we read through the book. We kind of taught ourselves how to play it. And we bought a microphone and we started recording it. And so that's our origins. I could probably go on and on just because of how much fun we've had and how amazing it's been. But that's really it. That's what brought us to episode 1 of Mutants and Masterminds that you guys saw, or of Team Titty Sprinkles in the Fate of Delmark. So tune in next time to Driving to the Draft. I can't promise you how often we'll have it, but if you subscribe down below, you'll be able to see when those videos come out. It'll come right up in your feed. Check us out on Facebook and Twitter. I'll put those links in the description. If you're interested, definitely go check out Team Titty Sprinkles in the Fate of Delmark. I can promise you, I'm going to go back at the beginning of 2016 and I'm going to fix episode 1. I do not like how it worked. I taught myself how to audio edit and how to video edit, and I've gotten a lot better at it, at least I think so. Let me know in the comments if you maybe disagree. But as in the later episodes, I've gotten a lot better. And when I look back at episode 1, it's just not up to par. I don't like it. And so I'm going to be going back in and I'm going to be fixing it. Obviously, nothing has changed. I have the raw recorded file. So maybe you'll hear some different stuff. Maybe you'll hear less of what you heard originally. But it is the same story. I'm not adding anything. I'm not adding any new recording. I'm just taking what we already have and what already exists and adding to it, or taking away from it from what didn't work. So stay tuned for that. We always definitely appreciate you guys watching. We got this year, at the end of this year, we got to over 2,000 views on our entire channel. If you watch other YouTubers, they're going to say, we got to 2 billion views, and that's insane. We're a small channel. We're starting out. 2,000 views is incredible. Thank you guys so much. If this is the first video you found of ours, welcome. If it's not, if you've watched other stuff, thank you so much. No matter what, thank you so much. And as we always say, in whatever video you watch next, we will see you all next time. Thanks, guys.